Hi guys, it's Wolver here, guys. It is Tuesday here for us. Here it's 1:20 p.m. and it looks like things are about to rock, guys. And then I think hopefully by tomorrow, which is your Tuesday, our Wednesday, hopefully we'll get some good news, guys. Okay. And I totally agree with what Mark said about the notifications coming through. We are hearing that. So hopefully with the grace of God, hopefully tomorrow or hopefully today, those notifications for the currency will come through. So just hold on, guys. Everything is about to explode. And praying, please, please. So I'm thinking, guys, if we can have a prayer session, and I'll let you know when, probably tonight or probably tomorrow morning. We'll have a prayer session so we can get this thing moving. Right? A lot of people are suffering right now, and we need this to get released ASAP. Take care, guys. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
The contradictory updates being given about Jorge Mario Bergoglio's medical condition casts a disturbing light on the way Vatican communications are being managed. There are those who believe that the Pope is already deceased, and that this fact is being kept hidden from the public. It is clear that the Vatican and the Bergoglian Deep Church are in a panic, and we do everything to gather the consensus of the cardinals together around the name of someone who will continue the Bergoglian revolution. There are those who have every interest in burying their own crimes along with those of Bergoglio, while in the United States there is a head-on clash of the U.S. Bishops' Conference against the Trump administration, after the scandal regarding the funds of the Agency for International Development, USAID, has brought to light the complicity of the Catholic Church in the lucrative business of immigration. It is necessary to prevent the progressive hierarchy from ensuring that one of their own is Bergoglio's successor, that is, another usurper on the throne of Peter will be their heir and continuator of the previous one. Before hammering the final nails into Bergoglio's coffin, it is therefore essential and urgent that the light be shed on the usurpation he perpetrated and on the occupation of the Catholic Church by a corrupt and treacherous hierarchy whose sole aim is to destroy her.
Forwarded from Ezra A. Cohen. Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano was excommunicated by Pope Francis after daring to publicly reject the Pope's authority and denounce the direction of the modern Church. His excommunication stripped him of any eligibility to become the next Pope, cutting him off entirely from the Church leadership. Vigano spoke out against global child trafficking networks, directly naming powerful figures like Hillary Clinton and John Podesta. He went further, exposing how Jeffrey Epstein ran a Mossad-backed blackmail operation on his private island, collecting damning evidence of elites engaging in ritual abuse of children. Imagine this man leading the Catholic Church.
A few weeks ago, an important collaborator of Hillary Clinton and John Podesta was arrested for pedophilia and child pornography. I'm referring to Slade Summer, a man with ties to the world of Broadway and cinema, who played a role in the effort to debunk the infamous Pizzagate affair. That is, the network, filthy complicity and horrendous crimes against minors that revolves around the international deep state. We have learned that certainly Jeffrey Epstein and most likely Ghislaine Maxwell were members of the Israeli Mossad. This makes us understand that the famous trips of many well-known people to Epstein Island were used to blackmail them by collecting evidence of their guilt in participating in heinous ritual crimes against minors. And if the heads of state and governance officials of the Western world do not dare to breathe out a word of protest against the massacres of civilians in Gaza Strip, it is legitimate to assume that this attitude is due to the intensive dossier with videos inculpating them that are in possession of the Israeli intelligence services. The same thing must be happening with the preparation of the fake pandemic emergency, which was lavishly replicated in all the member states of the World Economic Forum and the United Nations, and also with the farce of the Ukrainian crisis. But this blackmail of the powerful of the world constituted the unifying...
Sorry, I'm just busy blocking people on chat. Yeah, ooh, wow, yeah. 30 minutes of hawking stuff. Well, you know what? I mean, we have to live. So, I don't have any problem with that. Okay. Ding Dong the Witch is dead. That's probably Hillary Clinton, I would guess. I'm just thinking that's Hillary. No, not Hillary?
We're talking about the top witch. Hillary was a useful player.
But it's not Hillary. Okay.
I think it's the Pope.
Okay. Well, they're calling him the witch.
Has anybody seen that our Pope does not wear the crucifix?
Yeah.
I mean, have we, all the Catholics, have we just glazed over that?
Anybody?
I mean, I went into that a long time ago. I mean, take a look. Zoom in on the picture. He's got dead Jesus with his arms crossed and all these sheep behind, and he calls himself the shepherd.
Yeah.
What?
What?
Jesus is the shepherd. He puts himself above that. They're not letting me look too deeply into this because, I could, when I do that, that's a whole different spiritual level. I don't want anybody coming back here and seeing me. So there are some deep rabbit holers in here. They know what I'm talking about.
Okay. So Tuesday is the current schedule for us getting notifications. Sounds good to me.
As of now?
Sounds good to me. As of now. Do you get a sense that it's dependent on anything happening, or is it just it's like gears clicking into place and then it'll just happen?
That I don't know. I do know that as far as these back screens of this 4X, the rates showed up on there. I told you they were going to move. They've been moving. We've got BRICS coming into the scenario. We've got everything lining up for it to go, and it's going to go big. Okay. The announcement of the Pope was important somehow. I do think that has something to do with antiquities or some people who still had some kind of power behind that position to hold back some kind of treasure. Okay, so I don't know how else to explain that other than what I've got. I think
so. Again, basically what Jen's telling you is what I told you, which is that everything's ready, and we're not quite sure why it hasn't happened, but it apparently is going to happen. Jen, is Iran involved in this in any way?
I think they're one of the pillars. We have to look way back in history. I keep hearing it's biblical. We need to think about things like that. where power was back in history, some of those things, as modern as society has become, remained in place. And so, I don't know. That's what I'm getting right now.
Okay. Well, I mean, guys, it's right here. And when Tony comes on later today, he's probably going to tell you it's right here. And we're just waiting. He'll probably have a time frame. He likes to give you an hour or a day, but we'll see. That's all we can do at this point.
We're down to the wire unless something major happens.
Right.
I don't see how they can stop it. I don't see how. I feel like whatever codes or whatever work needed to be done behind the scenes to make sure they held back for the Easter holiday. I do think that has something to do with banks being open and all of that. We are on I think Easter's observed here, Easter Monday. So,
well, there's an Eastern Orthodox Christian Easter is different also. So.
Yeah. So.
Here we sit. All right.
I don't know what they could possibly do to stop this now.
Yeah, I can't think of anything either, and it's just like even the insiders who are in a position to know don't know why it's not happening right now. But I do know that the bond deal, gold contract, that if that's really happening, and I know for a fact it is, then money is in position. The gold is in position to back our part of this. And our responsibility is not to hoard what we get. It's to circulate what we get.
All right, and we will, but there's some kind of trust. There's some kind of trust.
Yeah, what about
that was unlocked with this?
There is this thing. Oh, well, shit! It's the Saint Germaine Trust. Well, duh. There's been rumors forever. There's a story sort of floating around that there's a $158 trillion trust or something that's hundreds of years old that Trump is opening this week or was going to open this week. That's the Saint Germaine Trust. Duh. And it's only supposed to be openable on Christmas or Easter are the only times you can open it. And so that rumor started pumping around that Trump is going to pay off the national debt and everything out of that trust, and we're going to go forward. So that rumor was floating around, but it wasn't like Trump specifically said anything specific.
This is connected to antiquities. This is connected to items.
Like
not numbers on a screen. This is connected to actual gold cups and
Arks of the Covenant and Jesus's.
I just saw a golden cup.
Holy Grail. The Holy Grail.
Holy shit, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
God, I love stuff like that.
Well, remember when I asked you about the Bush funeral in 2018? And I said, what was on those little sheets? And you said it was a picture of an artifact is what everybody got. And I thought, okay, it's either one of two things. It's either the Ark of the Covenant or it's the Holy Grail that Trump was in possession of. Now, at Mar-a-Lago, there happens to be a full-size replica of the Ark of the Covenant.
That is not something. That's kind of strange.
It's not a replica. I'm saying, what if that's not a replica? What if that's really the Ark of the Covenant? And what that means, Jen, is that he who holds the Ark, as they said, an army that carries the Ark before it is invincible, as they said.
This is ancient history stuff. This is something. I'm not trying to be out there. This is why the announcement of the death of the Pope was important. It was the position. Didn't matter if he'd been dead all this time. That's why they didn't announce things. That's why they don't announce the deaths until they're ready. Mm-hmm. Something happened. Because I feel like it's almost like I see these huge, 40-foot tall golden doors opening up.
Great. I think
So that's positive. I mean,
you know what? I mean, and now it makes sense that there's a delay, because if the Saint Germain Trust was released, Saint Germain, by the way, is supposed to be, I don't know, 1,400 years old or something, and he's like, he's an angelic entity in a human body, and he's lived all his time, and he's been storing this wealth forever to be released to humanity at the right time. And if that was what was actually released,
the keepers of the trust changed. So I think that was channeled.
maybe the Pope.
This is getting good.
Maybe the
This
church.
is getting good.
Maybe the church was in charge of all that, and
Well, think about it. 1,400 years ago, who was in power then?
The Pope. And it was taken away from them, and that's what the symbolic meaning of the death is.
So it's like there was a duality to the control.
Right, because the Catholic Church got compromised.
Religion controlled. Way back then, religion controlled the world. There was a duality there. We had Middle East over there, and we had Rome. It's important what Trump's doing with Iran.
Or bringing the Zoroastrians into it. Now,
I don't know. I'm getting all kinds of stuff this morning, but it's
Zarathustra. Yeah, okay. All right.
It's exciting to say the least.
I think it's a good week. I think we're in line. I think this is a good week.
Are scheduled to be visible on the Forex Tuesday night, my time. The announcement of the Pope, the death of the Pope. Oh, here we go. The announcement of the Pope was symbolic of the death of the old guard. And a long time ago, before we got so involved with the RV, I was telling you about the old guard. Okay? The powers that be. A long time ago, I told you that there were 4 pillars that needed to fall. One of the pillars that needed to fall was Rome. That position had more power than people know. As long as he was alive publicly, that character, the evil behind that position had keys to the treasure, is how it was worded. They had keys to the treasure. As far as the RV goes, the financial, in the world, everything, the entire operation. This is important. Coming in the news, release of funds. Second bullet point, a transfer of wealth. Third, high profile people will exit. We're going to hear more about that. Stocks are going to crash. Then we will have announcements, USA and geopolitical. And before I started, I believe that Iran, I asked how many pillars do we have left? One of them was the United States, the power in the United States. That was taken care of when Trump got into office. I don't know what all the pillars are. I know Rome was one. Iran is the last pillar. We're already handling that situation. I think that is handled behind the scenes. We just need announcements on that. I heard before, when we just got on the air, ding dong, the witch is dead. So this is deep cabal. This is deep truther down the rabbit hole stuff with this announcement here. But it has a lot to do with the funding of the RV. And that's Jentel for today.
Close enough. Let's dive in, folks. Of course, the first news that we need to talk about this morning, many folks out there will be looking at this as a good sign. I know, tough to celebrate somebody's death and think of it as a positive thing. Pope Francis dead at 88. Many considered him a globalist, undermining faith, Christianity worldwide, and the Catholic Church. Wherever you believe on that one, I'll leave that one to you. Many in the Reset movement very much considered him a hindrance, and the church, well, I shouldn't say that, in the Vatican as a whole. So this is definitely interesting timing, happening on an Easter Monday after a visit from J.D. Vance in the Vatican just yesterday. The conspiracy theories are going to be just all over social media today. Time that with Klaus Schwab immediately stepping down. No notice, no whatever, immediate effect It's almost like the globalists are in full-blown retreat. Be curious to see what you all think as I get an opportunity to look at chat. Despite the reports, El Ziad, there's no justification for closing the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Wait, what are they talking about? Supposedly there's a rumor that Trump said they were just going to close down the embassy in Baghdad and leave. Guys, that's not going to happen. It is probably our biggest embassy in the world with all kinds of infrastructure for intelligence sharing, etc. It's not happening, but these number of yo-yo style accounts are something that we have seen in the final days of almost any country before their reset. So I'm going to take this one as more of a diversion and a hoot. It makes no sense at all, like zero, zilch, none. Trump has been sending more and more folks over there to help Iraq finish its completion of all of its reform process and coming into compliance with the world banking system in preparation for their ascension. So this one I am going to put right where I believe it makes the most sense, just like the articles in Kuwait saying it wasn't going to happen for months, years even, and it happened that day. That's what I'm running with. It's the only thing that makes logical sense. Korean company expands in America with investment in new steel plant. Why do I put that one there other than the news was coming out of the Middle East? We could have put it somewhere else. South Korea's leading steel manufacturer Bosco has revealed plans to participate in an investment project for a new steel plant in the United States in collaboration with Hyundai Steel, largest vehicle manufacturer, heavy equipment, cars, etc. in the world, coming out of Korea. Guys, they're talking about trillions of dollars between all of their companies, satellite companies, and etc. that they are spending in manufacturing inside the United States. Steel, cars, heavy equipment. Rumor is they are going to be partnering with a company to compete with John Deere and tractors coming into the U.S. market, manufactured, built, and assembled in the United States. This one steel plant, what we're talking about, was it 5.8 billion? Yeah, 5.8 billion investment in just that one. That's American workers. With good job, Sudani. I don't know why I had that article there, though. It should have been further back. Sudani, the Nasira Combined Power Station project is one of the important projects that will enhance the supply of electricity in the national system, launching a new one with a capacity of 921 megawatts. Sudani said the project, which is being implemented by the German company Siemens, within the limits of the steam plant. This is more of them modernizing for stability, removing the Iranian influence. We continue, man, they slow, steady progress. I shouldn't even say slow, very fast progression towards their goals. Final goal, guys, we've seen their papers. They told us what their final goal was: to lift the purchasing power of all Iraqis, to make the dinar the father of the dollar again. They keep telling us, anybody listening, Sudanese advisor, Iraqis' hard currency reserves are fine. Yeah, Salil at it again. Saleh letting us know today in Iraqi news, the currency reserves hard covers 100%, completely covers the national security. People, stop panicking. We have this. We have a plan. It's in hand. It's operating just like we planned. Because you get those yo-yo back and forth stories. So it's important to counter them with as much truth as you can. Why is it important for American companies to visit Iraq? I love this one. Well, because of stability. He pointed out that there are a number of American companies signed with the private sector, most notably international company Google, which seeks to enter Iraq, where representatives came and wrote a positive message about Iraq, the content of which is that Iraq is safe, which is an important message to the world. Safe and stable, guys. This is part of the foundation that they are building to justify that rate change. We've talked about it. I mean, it's in their reform papers that they talk about needing for the people for not only for it to be safe, but for the public perception of safe as well. Very positive stuff out of there. I do have something on bonds to share once we get through a few of the articles. Chinese geologists announced yet another massive 1,000-ton gold deposit worth billions. We just told you about another one. Just Saturday or Friday? We have turned around every day this week, and it is gold, it is lithium, it is hydrogen deposits. It's some kind of massive commodity discovery all over the world. A couple of them on gold in China alone in the past few days. More than any other in history, 17 million tons underground in America. We're talking about copper now. Can't seem to get enough, guys. Here you go. Found deep beneath American soils, approximately 17 million tons of copper. Tap into underground wealth to fuel the U.S. expansion back into manufacturing. Commodities. They keep. Isn't it amazing how they just boom, materialize right when the world is entering into a reset and a super cycle of commodities? Curious timing, no doubt. The global safe haven is slowly breaking while central banks are turning to gold. Here's just a great read over at the Gold Telegraph, getting into the fundamentals and how the world is moving back to a gold standard. We could have told you this, guys. We are watching it happen around us. They are executing it. Central banks talking about it. Economists around the world talking about it. About the only people out there not talking about it are mainstream news. And even those guys are feeling it. And you're starting to get some of the contrarians on their shows calling it out. Let's see. Kathy Laney, the American dream is safe, home, and trusty car. An insulating night to think today we give up making cars in the U.S. They're coming home. It's all coming home. But it's coming home around the world, guys. It's not just the U.S. that's returning manufacturing into its nation. It's countries all around the world doing the same thing for stability and for their workers. All right, Trump versus Powell. New gold-backed sound money plan revealed. Judy Shelton on SOAR Financial discussed potential gold-backed treasury bonds, how it would work, convertibility. And of course, they also discussed how she is the leading candidate right now, it appears, to take Powell's place this next year as Powell's term comes to completion. Just right out here in the open, guys, talking about a gold-backed financial system. Now, I know some of you folks don't want to hear from Judy Shelton on this front because it doesn't look like she'll be in power for roughly one more year. In other words, would we have to wait? I am not hearing that. But what I do find encouraging is that steady, trackable, traceable, whatever you want to call it, progress towards a reset to sound money. Because like many of you guys, I have put my money behind things that will flourish when we have sound asset-backed money in countries that have lots of assets. So for me, I'm excited because this gives me something tangible I can touch at. And it shows me that we are clearly moving in that direction. Like I've said, it's always been a when and not an if. We know based on history, cycles, fundamentals, that the system will reset to assets. It certainly does feel good to hear central banks and some of the premier economists around the world calling for what I've been screaming about for a few years now. That's for certain. All right, now let me take off this one, although I should probably leave it on. It's distracting. Let's see. On the bond side, sovereigns expecting payday this week. In other words, ones that are directly tied. Some of my biggest bond contact at this point that I can still have any communication with got the notification over the weekend that their final contracts and payday is this week. I am not going to divulge which day I was told, just because I don't want to get anybody in trouble on that front. So we've got, these I know for 100% fact are getting paid by a sovereign, by a national treasury, by a country, not any kind of flipper, any kind of group. This is one that I am 100% familiar with and confident in. I feel really good about this one. Of course, we had Schwab and the Pope, the yuan crashing. The U.S. dollar is tracking lower, but the yuan is imploding right now in its value as China is going to be forced to expose the level of gold holdings they have soon because their currency is plunging through the basement. We are hitting critical mass. We have hit critical mass. Scott, I believe that's exactly what you're watching. I think you are watching the other shoe dropping as we speak. It's getting wild. Corey said rumor is Tuesday. Are you referring to? There's a lot going on. It's going to be interesting. Dana, Mark, Nader posted no budget. We've been talking about that all last week, Dana. From what I keep hearing is that there is a rate tucked in there and they are doing their best to stall that budget until they get the clearance to go. That's certainly the rumor I'm getting out of Iraq. From Iraqi sources, not from all the folks here in our chat rooms. And it would make sense. Why haven't they released it? Now, Salil let us know that the budget's already passed 23, 24, 25, and there is a safety valve where it just automatically will assume the values of the 2024 budget and move forward and allow for the funding of any of the projects that have already started, but no new projects can be started in it. So he's telling us we're safe. It's getting fun. This is getting fun to watch.
Iraq just quietly confirmed that Dinar is fully backed. The system is ready. April 21st, 2025, buried in a Shafak News update, is one of the most powerful confirmations to date. Iraq's foreign currency reserves are sufficient to fully back the national currency in circulation. Not partially, not theoretically, fully backed. That means the Central Bank of Iraq already holds the firepower to support a revalued, internationally traded dinar. No more building the foundation, it's done. The Prime Minister's financial advisor laid it out clearly. Reserves cover 3 months of imports, meeting global monetary thresholds. Exchange rate stability and external purchasing power are the final levers. The goal is now activation, not construction. The numbers back it up. 130.81 trillion dinars in reserves. That's even after a 10% drop from 2023. And the reason for the drop? Covering domestic obligations, not weakness. Even with that, the system is still over-leveraged to support the full float or fixed rate shift the world's been waiting for. This tells us everything. Iraq has the reserves, the CBI has the mechanisms, the infrastructure, World Trade Organization, Forex integration, digital banking is aligning. They're not waiting to be ready. They're waiting for the right moment. The rate is alive, the liquidity is real, and the only thing left is the release. This is by 589 Bull, 10,000. The ones who are tested the most are the ones who came to carry the most light.